Shalom, shalom, Israel, coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing, this is edifying. First off, giving all praise, all honor, all glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops, the great millstone, and all the teachers out there pushing this word in truth, with truth and sincerity. May you be of the elect. Shalom to all the Akim and Aqua out there listening and learning. You Israelites, so-called Negroes, Hispanic, Native and Seminole Indians, who are the true children of Israel, as well as you speckled bird, Israelite foreigners, the Israelites that look like, act like, and take on the customs of all these heathen nations. So to you, I say shalom, and may you be the elect. This lesson is brought to you by the Spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the true name of our Father, the God of the Bible, the God of the Israelites, Ba'ashem meaning in the name, and Yahweh Shai being the only begotten Son of Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls by the name of JC. Alright? This is a response video to a video I was watching. I'm going to put it in the description box if you want to watch the video. But it was just some key things that I took out of the video. It's like a good 10-minute video. And I just took out some key things that he was speaking on. All right. Whether he knew what he was saying or he didn't, it was still spiritual nonetheless. Okay. Everything that he was saying was spiritual. All right. So without any further ado, I have precepts, but I'm just gonna speak about some of the things that he spoke on, and I'm just gonna highlight it with some precepts for understanding, for edification's sake. All right. So again, this is a response video to the video titled "Why Are They Obsessed?" A white woman questions her community's fixation on so-called black people. All right. He said, relentlessly persecuted like slavery. Right. How they always been on our ass. Right. Relentlessly. Why is that? All right. Perpetual hatred, as the scriptures speak on. This is why. Okay. It ain't something, we did something during slavery and they didn't like us ever since. No, this goes back to the very, very beginning. Okay. This goes back to Cain and Abel. Right. And fast forward a few generations, then it was Jacob and Esau. And Esau hated his brother Jacob ever since. Okay, Esau is known as the progenitor of the so-called white race. Jacob is the progenitor of the 12 tribes. Okay, or should I say, summarizing the 12 tribes being the Negroes, the Hispanics, the Native and Seminole Indians. Okay. And no, you don't have to necessarily look like a so-called Negro, Hispanic, Native, or Seminole Indian. You have Israelites that look like any of these other nations. You have Israelites that look like Chinese people. You have Israelites that look like Eastern Indian people. You have Israelites that may look like fucking Putin, look like Trump. Okay, so it's not a color thing. It's not a black and white thing, as these people in the world like to say, the black Hebrew Israelites. We don't teach that because it's not about color. It's about the spirit, right? The spirit bears witness, right? Color don't mean shit. Okay, we were put in captivity in all these different lands. And why you think it said we will be numbered as the sand of the sea? Because wherever we was at, we was popping the women, okay, and populating the Israelites. All right, look like all different people, man. This way, if they ever tried to specifically come after the so-called Negro, come after the so-called Hispanics, the so-called Native and Seminole Indians, if they just went after specifically them, and let's say they just wiped them all out, well, guess what? You got Israelites all over the world that look like other people. So you're not going to ever get rid of the Israelites. That's the point. Okay? Anyways, back to the subject at hand. All right? He said that we were relentlessly persecuted like slavery. And again, I said, yeah, because the scripture says perpetual hatred. Perpetual meaning endless. Okay? An endless hatred. Okay? Matter of fact, let's do this so you can get some understanding of perpetual, right? Never ending or changing, everlasting, never ending, eternal, permanent, unending, without end, endless, lasting, long. You get the point, right? Esau hated us like that ever since because he has an endless hatred towards us. This is Ezekiel 35 and I'm reading 5 through 6. It says, because thou hast because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and endless hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force, brakatah, 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 by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. All right? So, ever since Esau hated us and been killing us left and right, okay, and going overboard on us, as it were, the Lord said, all right, you're going to get the same results, nigga. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. You want to live by the sword? Nigga, you going to die by the sword. Okay? Because you touched the eye, the apple of the Lord's eye, man. You touched the Israelites. You're an infidel. And you touched his precious jewels. All right? You stole us. Okay? We belong to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You stole us with your nasty infidel hands. Defiled us. Killing us on a regular. Because of that perpetual hatred. The Lord gonna do something with you. Okay?
Yeah, but the Bible is a white man book.
Oh yeah? One of my favorite scriptures to go to with that dumb shit. Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Who has slaves? Who has slaves over here? So-called white people. Had the so-called Negroes and Hispanics and Native Seminole Indians in slavery. So it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You had slaves, you're going to be a slave. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. All right? You did this to us, it's going to be done unto you. Matter of fact, the Lord said double. Everything you did to us, you're going to get double in a righteous way. But we're going to be fucking y'all up. The Lord is terror, man. All right? The Lord can think of the most unfathomable things, man, to do to people in an evil manner. We're gonna be given the same insight to be able to do that. The master of terrors, man. All right? Right? It hated Jacob ever since. Right? Ever since Isaac passed. And Esau got all jealous and butthurt because Jacob got the blessing, which was ordained from the beginning for him to get it, if you can receive that. But Esau got all hurt and hated his brother ever since. Okay? It says, what if they, meaning the black people, have a superpower, is what he said. Nigga, we do. Think about this. We are in a low estate, meaning we're not in the same form as our former selves. All right? We're not decked out in gold and silver and precious jewels and looking fly as fuck, looking like Xerxes off 300. All right? That's our ancient garbs, right? Our ancient wardrobe, as it were. Kingly, priestly nation, right? So, here it is in today's world. Even the nigga in the hood, he still is looked upon by all the other nations to be just like us. Why? Ain't nobody striving to be like a so-called Jewish. Ain't nobody striving to be a Elamite. Ain't nobody striving to be a Moabite or an Ammonite or a Cushite. Nothing. Everybody's striving to be like Jake, a so-called Negro, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indian. Why? Because we got that salt, nigga. We the salt of the earth. We got that swag, and people can't help it but to embrace us, even if they try not to. Whether it be consciously or subconsciously, everybody wants to be like an Israelite. Look at these so-called white women. What are they doing? Flocking towards Jake, the so-called black man. Okay, want to get lip injections to get big lips, trying to wear the braids to look like Eve, trying to get the booties to look like Eve, trying to dance like us, trying to be all up on us. Why? All these other nations in the world, why y'all pushing all up on us? Because they can sense that power. Okay? And again, this is us in a lower state. How much more so when we get back in our right minds and in our normal bodies? Our natural state. How about that? How much more are we going to be glorified? You see? People already embrace us in our lowest state. Imagine when we get back in our normal state, man. Because we are the salt of the earth. That is our superpower. Because we are gods. Let's get it. It says all of you are gods, right? That's what made me, when he said that, that's the first thing that came to my mind. All of you are gods, all right? This is Psalm 82, and I'm reading 6 and 7. It says, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Who? The Negroes, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indians. Nobody else. Okay? Nobody else. One of my favorite scriptures, Joel 2:27. I am in the midst of Israel, and none else. The Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai is in the midst of the Negroes, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indians. Nobody else. Okay? Psalm 82 and 6 again says, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Because we're in these mortal bodies. Okay? We're like, how would I say? I guess like we Superman, in our normal state. But now that we on Earth, right, in these chains of darkness, and this world is kryptonite, we can easily get fucked up. We can die. But when we get back in our normal state, can't fuck with us. Can't fuck with us. If you can fuck with Yahweh, which I doubt, then you can fuck with the rest of us. It ain't gonna happen, man. Okay? It says, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Because we're in our lowest state. We get sickly. We get infirmities. Okay? We got to eat. We got to drink. We got to draw air. Okay? Whenever we get back in our normal state, man, we're going to be immortal. We are going to be gods. We're already gods, but we're in this mortal body. All right? But we're already gods, and these people in the world know that. The Edomites, self-proclaimed white people, they know that. Okay? I was going to do a lesson about how when Nat Turner decided to put in his mind, he thought he was supposed to lead a rebellion against the so-called white people, his slave owners. All right, and then after they nabbed him a couple years later, okay, they chopped his body up in little pieces, even sold like some of his body parts to other people, other Edomites, because they sick like that. But they also were eating him. Why are they eating Jake? Because they thought they can get superpowers. Where do you get that idea from? Because they know we're the Israelites. They know we are gods. They know it. We are the X-Men. We are the Brightburns. We are the Magnetos. We are those superheroes that you read about, that you think about, that you imagine. We are them. And easy, they might say, know it. Okay? They know it, and they women know it. Salt of the earth. We are the salt of the earth. Everybody strive to be just like us. They can't help it, man. Again, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, they cannot help it. Because we got that swag. Look at these so-called white people. When they make food, they got to follow fucking directions. Even if they follow the direction, why your food still tastes like hospital food? Jake ain't got to use no fucking directions. Jake just used the power of Yahweh Bashim Shai and just mix this and mix that, and food be fire. Where you think the term soul food come from? Why everybody always flocking to Jake with their food, but putting off everybody else's food? They might eat, here and there, eat this shit or whatever, But man, they be tearing down on Jake food. Why? Cause Jake get down, boy. We are the former. I'm gonna get that. This is Matthew 5:13. It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its flavor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden underfoot of men." You gonna have 2/3 of our people. That's that. Just niggas. Nobody give a fuck about them. You got all this knowledge, this know-how, and you put it to no use. That's like us having this light, but we put it under a bushel, put it under the bed. No, we're gonna let our light so shine to glorify our Father in heaven. We have this information, we're gonna teach it. We have this spirit, we're gonna show it, we're gonna flaunt it. Okay? And these people see it. All right? And if you ain't dealing right, then what the fuck are you good for? Nothing. Okay? Former of all things. This is what I was getting at before. This is Jeremiah 51:19. Okay? It says, "The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things." Everything that's under the sun right now, we've been doing that shit. Niggas, everybody want to get gold teeth. Nigga, we was doing that in the ancient days. Earrings, we've been doing that since the ancient days. Nigga, on God, on my mama, we was saying all that kind of stuff in the ancient days. All right, ain't nothing new under the sun. Everything that's popping today, that's popular and trendy and shit, Jake. Why? Because we always been like that. We are children of the Most High. Of course we got better brains. Of course we do things better. Everything that we do is better, of course. All right? The portion of Jeremiah 51:19, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. See that? The Lord ain't dealing with all people. He's only dealing with the Israelites. Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahweh of hosts is his name. See that? This is Deuteronomy 7:6. All right? The rich, all right, meaning the elites, have studied us. I was going to put Deuteronomy 7:6, which would read, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people upon the face of the earth." All right? We are not the minority. We are the majority. And we are the people that Yahweh Shem Shai holds in favor, not everyone else. Okay? And these rich, the elites, they know that, right? Which is why they have studied us. Okay? Psalm 74:6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart, which is your mind, is deep. Right? These why you think they got 23andMe, Ancestry.com, and so forth? Because they want to know who the Israelites are, so they can destroy you motherfuckers. Why you think when the C-19 came out, they specifically said that the ones they wanted to take the jump shot was the Negroes, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indians? When a year or 2, 3 years later, a lot of people taking dirt naps. But they specifically wanted them to take it. Why specifically those people? Because they know we're the Israelites. They have a diligent search. Okay? They know who we are. They know if we come back in power, their reign is over with. All right? They know it. That's why they do everything to get us to go off. Here, eat this. Pork rinds. Here, eat this. Ham sandwich. All swine, right? Here, use this toothpaste. Made with pork. Here, eat these. This is regular marshmallows. Yeah, made with pork. All right? Shrimp, crab, lobster. It's just a delicacy. No, all that shit is to make us go off. And they know it. So they can be like, look, God. See, look. They doing all this shit. They ain't supposed to be doing that. But yeah, but you the one making us do it. You the one got us going off. You the one got our food defiled. We gotta go to you for the one of all things. So who the one that's really fucking up? All right, jealous. Of course they jealous of us. Of course they are. Right? That's why a lot of these times the so-called white T man, right? He get upset. He dating this girl and he found out she was with a so-called black man prior to him. And when he say, "Oh man, I can't compete with that. He's got a Pringle can. I'm working with a goddamn Tootsie Roll." All right, if you can understand that, because Jake get down. All right, we ain't scooting up to the dinner table when it come down to clapping cheeks, man. All right, we making shit happen, man. All right, we like Star Trek. We going to exploring places ain't nobody been explored to, man. All right, we knocking new holes in them shits. All right, they can't compete with us in no type of way. Why you think they gotta use their money to get bitches? All Jake gotta do is spit that game. Jake can be broke as hell. He know how to spit that game, man. You can get any of these hoes. But the Edomite ain't got that. He got to use his money. He got to flaunt his big ass house. He got to flaunt his paycheck. You see? He got to dress a certain way. He got to look a certain way. We ain't got to do all that. Jake can be straight up Pookie and Ray Ray and clapping cheeks, man. Getting these hoes. Okay? So yeah, they have a jealousy towards us. It's a righteous jealousy. They got a right to be jealous of us. Because we the Lord's portion. He ain't dealing with you nasty Edomites. You nasty niggas. Alright? Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob, which is the Negroes, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indians. Alright? Jacob, later known as Israel. Alright? Wrestling with an angel. Okay? As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Yeah, they jealous. Of course they jealous. Because they know the Lord loves us and hate them motherfuckers. Alright? Amos 3, I'm going to read 1 and 2. It says, "Hear this word that Yahweh Bashim Shai has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth." You see that? Possession. He only knows the Israelites. No one else. He just said that right here. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Damn, why he only punishing us? Because the scriptures was only given to the Israelites. Right? When Moses came out the mount with those tablets, right? The statute, laws, and commandments, it was only given to the Israelites. It wasn't given to all people. It just so happened that the Bible is so perfect that a lot of these different nations decided to try to make it theirs. Try to make it a universal thing. Because it's a good moral compass. Okay? That's why. But there is no universal salvation. Salvation is only for the Israelites. St. John 4:22. You know not what you worship. Salvation is of the Jews. Salvation is of the Jews. Salvation is of the Negroes, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indians. Nobody else. All right? Days of suppression is coming to an end, he said. That's right. That's right. Because of Revelation 12 and 12, this devil know he got a short time left. Okay? And that's why he doing what he doing. Because he know his time is coming to an end. Okay? Numbers 24 and 20, it says, "And when he looked on Amalek," Amalek is the grandson of Esau. Right? Don't these Ish people call themselves Amalekites? Proudly at that? Don't they proudly call themselves Amalekites? All right? "And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but," right? Why? Because Esau came out first, red all over like a hairy garment, and then here come Jacob soon after, right? "Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever." Ooh, hurt. So yeah, they jealous. course they have a perpetual hatred towards us. Esau looked at like the redhead stepchild that nobody wanted and ended up on the doorstep of Yahweh. Now he forced to take care of this little motherfucker because nobody else will. Type shit. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Jacob is in his arms and spoon fed and get the best of the best. Looking down at Esau, laughing and shit, while Esau looking up mad as hell.
Fuck you, Jacob. No, nigga, fuck you, Esau.
Type shit. You know what I'm saying? Alright? The so-called white tea people is coming to an end. Thus saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The more racist, the quicker decline. I look at it like this: the more that part where he said that the more racist, the quicker the decline. Yeah, I mean, or you can look at it as, you know, them exposing who they truly are in these last days. They're showing their horns. They're showing the whole world who they truly are, their true nature. Let them be racist. Again, they have a perpetual hatred. They can only hold it in for so long. You know how proud these so-called white tea people are? They need to express themselves in a proud manner. Because they think white supremacy. They think, what you call that? White privilege. They think they're on top. Whole time, they the basis of men. They are viler than the earth, man. All right. Matthew 24 and 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. Why? Because Esau got his hand on everything and everybody, trying to delete everybody. He don't know where to start, so he messes with everything. Your food, your air, your water, okay? Your shampoo, your damn clothing, okay? Everything. Esau is trying to do his best to delete Jacob, okay? And so if Yahushai don't come back, there won't be no flesh to be saved. Okay? It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Have y'all been paying attention these past few years? Right? Days just been flying by. Boom, 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 boom. For the elect's sake. Okay? It's our time now, he said. He right. Not right now, but it's coming. Okay? And this is what's got to happen for it to be our time. Okay? This is 2nd Ezra 69. For Esau, which is so-called white tea people, he's the progenitor of the so-called white race. For Esau is the end of the world. Okay? And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That's our time. Prime time, baby. Okay? And I'm going to put the video in the description box. All right? So you can watch the video and see these points I was speaking on. All right? So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. Giving all praise, all honor, all glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops, the great millstone, and all the teachers out there pushing his word in truth with truth and sincerity. May you be of their light. Y'all better stay prayed up, repent. Ababa Ball, Kwam Yasharallah, Shalom.